Well, hello, my friends. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Enrich Lives, where you're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. That's right. You're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. Hello, I'm Brother Charles, your host. We have another fantastic topic for discussion for you today. But before we get into our discussion, let me say this to you. If today is the day that you arrived upon the planet, happy birthday to you, my friend. That's right. Happy birthday to you. Why? Because God didn't make no junk. That's right. You are somebody. That's right. Did you not know that you are somebody that of over, shall we say, 8 billion people on the planet, not one of them is just like you. You are somebody. God didn't make no junk. You have a purpose and you have a reason for being here. So thank God for this day. You are somebody. Now, again, happy birthday to you. Why? Because God didn't make no junk. We'd like to bring to you topics for discussion that we have based on biblical principles and scripture. And today is no different. Our topic for discussion for today is through the eyes of compassion. Through the eyes of compassion. And the scripture that we're going to be using comes out of the book of Luke, Luke the 10th chapter, the 30 through the 37th verse, Luke 10, 30 through the 37th verse. And it deals with what the story is known as the Good Samaritan. Very interesting story, very interesting story. Here, Jesus tells us about an individual that was on his way from Jerusalem down to Jericho, and he fell among thieves, and they beat him and left him for dead. They beat him and left him for dead. And here we see three individuals going down the same way. The first to come down that way was a priest, and the priest looks over there and see the man and goes on the other side. He doesn't want to get involved. The priest of all the people, but he doesn't get involved. And then a Levite comes by, and he looks and he sees, and he goes on the other side also. Here's a man beaten and left for dead almost, but not one of them helped him. And then a Samaritan comes along, and the Samaritan looks and sees the man, and he goes over there to help him and to bandage him and to take care of him. And he takes him into town, and he leaves him at the end and tells the person whatever he needs done, do it. He said, I'll pay for it when I come back. Now, this is very interesting because now we have two religious figures that passed by the man and leave, and we have one person who was a Samaritan. Now, it's obvious that the Samaritan was not of the same nationality as the Jews were. So we have a person of a different nationality, and the Jews and Samaritan, there's bad blood between those two individuals. They didn't like each other. No, they didn't like each other at all. So here, this is more intriguing than it looks like, because here's a person that's of a different race, but he shows compassion, stops and helps the man. Now it's very interesting because the priest and the Levite, they went on the other side. They didn't get involved. What do we see here? What can we glean out of these three individuals? What can we glean out of this particular lesson? There's a lesson in here for you and I as individuals. And here it's very interesting because the priest and the Levite, they're saying, in other words, hey, we ain't getting involved. I don't want to get involved in that. I'm not touching that. So they go on the other side. They don't religious people. If anybody would have stopped, you would have thought that the priest would have stopped, but he didn't. And you thought that the Levite, he didn't. Now, these are religious figures, but they didn't stop to get involved. They didn't want to help. Very interesting, isn't it? Because, see, we see things, this was a conditional involvement here. They say, hey, he's not one of us. We don't care anything about that. We don't care about Paul. But it must have been Paul. It doesn't matter whether Paul was he homosexual, transgender, or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. He had tattoos all on him. It could have been anything. You see, this is what happens to today's situation. Very religious figures that push their views down on people, but they are some of the most incompassionate. They'll just don't have any compassion at all when it comes to certain issues, certain people, especially like those who call themselves that we love the Lord, and then they turn right around and hate you because of a different ethnic background. They buy into fear. And you got to be careful with this type of situation. Here we see these people that don't have any compassion at all. They didn't have any compassion. But a Samaritan, here's a person of a different ethnic group, and he shows compassion. He helps the person. He helps him, takes him into town, and gets him, pays for him, puts him in a inn, and pays for him to have him treated and everything. And he helps him, pays the man. He says, if anything else, let me know, and I'll pay for it when I come back to you. Very interesting, isn't it? See, you and I as individuals are instructed to be what? Compassionate. compassion. That's the difference. I'm not talking about religion. Religion will let you down in the New York sucker, my friend. Religious people could care less about you. It's a known fact. If you're not of that particular persuasion, they could care less about you. There is no compassion with certain religions and religious people. Not all, but some. The majority of them, there is no compassion. Case in point, here we look at the issue of abortion. Here's the terrible. This is an issue, and religious people. This is terrible. This is terrible. God forbid people out there committing abortion. They're killing innocent babies and turn right around and have a bomb dropped on live people running around could care less. Very interesting, isn't it? See, religious people, there's no compassion. There's no compassion. People that are hungry, that need help, no compassion. See, when we look at religious people, now, this is what we glean out of this particular situation here with the religious establishment. Looked the other way. They didn't have any compassion upon the man. Very interesting, isn't it? Because you and I, as individuals, here Jesus tells his disciples, now, who showed compassion? He said, the Samaritan. He says, now, you go and do the same. As a follower of Christ, I'm not talking about a religious persuasion or a religious denomination that you belong to, whether you are this or that, whatever. I'm saying as a follower of Christ, the teachings of Christ, he says you are to be compassionate. We are to be compassionate human beings. You have to show compassion to a fellow human being, not condemnation. These two, the priest and the Levite, they show indignation. They show arrogance. They looked down upon the person. They didn't stop to help. See, they didn't want to get involved. None involvement at all. Why? There was no compassion there, see. So we can glean out these two individuals that they were not compassionate. See, out of the heart, see, compassion is an action that comes from out of the heart. It shows mercy upon whatever the situation is. It doesn't condemn, doesn't ask, how'd you get like that? What in the world happened to you? No, it doesn't do that. It shows mercy. It has compassion. See, the compassionate heart is a merciful heart, a willing heart that's there to help you. Don't you want to have friends that show compassion upon you and not be condemning you? What in the world happened to you? How'd you get like it? No, they'll say, hey, what can I do to help? How can I help you? What can I do? I'm here to help you. I'm not here to condemn you or criticize you because of your situation. We're here to what? To help you. And this is very interesting because what? You and I are instructed by Jesus. If you are a follower of the teachings of Christ, to show compassion. You're to be a compassionate individual, not a condemning individual, not a judgmental individual, but an individual that has compassion. You're to have compassion upon your spouse, upon your friends, upon your colleagues that you work with, whatever. You are to be a compassionate individual. That's so interesting, isn't it? See, that's so interesting because it's easy to condemn, it's easy to criticize, but have compassion. That's another ballgame. See, you don't look at the person's situation, you don't condemn it. What in the world happened? No, you don't say that. You show what? Compassion. See, this is what's so intriguing about this story. You and I are instructed by the Messiah, Christ, to show compassion. I'm not talking about religion. Religion, you're not going to find any compassion in religion. You'll find a lot of arrogance and judgment and condemnation in religions. You're not going to find too much compassion. See, this is a spiritual thing. Be a spiritual person. Show compassion. Have compassion upon your fellow human being. Don't ever devalue your fellow human being. They so dumb. They so inferior. They're not good. We're better than them. See, this is not the compassionate person. Compassion will never let anything like that come out of their mouths. See, don't tell me you're a Christian. You come and you talk down to another fellow human being. No, that's not a compassionate heart. That's a condemning heart. That's a judgmental heart. See, so it's very interesting that you and I hear Jesus says, look, go and do likewise. Have compassion. Cultivate compassion in your heart, my friend. Don't be so quick to condemn, to criticize. Cultivate compassion. Have compassion. This is Brother Charles from Enriched Lives. May God continue to bless you. May love, joy, peace, and happiness forever be with you as we walk upon this good earth that God has given us. And remember, my friends, subscribe, like, and subscribe. Tell someone else about this program. We thank God for you. We thank God for you that you're going to be a compassionate individual. Until next time, you be blessed. The world is going to be better. Why? Because of your compassion. You be blessed, my friend.